We've been taught that burnout is the price of success. We're told that if we want to stay relevant at work, in our social circles, or in our personal goals, we have to keep the momentum at all costs. But for a lot of us, burnout isn't just about the workload. It's about the weight of a spotlight we think is following our every move. We aren't just tired. We're terrified that if we stop to breathe, the world will move on without us. There's a psychological concept called the spotlight effect. It's the tendency to overestimate how much others notice our presence, mistakes, or even our absence. Because we think the light is always on, we treat our progress like a cage. We think, if I don't show up today, the momentum dies. We turn our lives into a performance and the performance into a prison. We convince ourselves that if the momentum dies, we lose everything. Not just our relevance, but our survivability. We think that stopping means we won't be able to make ends meet. I fell straight into this trap a lot of times. And I don't think I have ever gotten out of it completely. For many times, I have experienced things that have been going incredibly well. The growth was there, the energy was high, and the momentum felt like a runaway train. But instead of being fully happy, I was scared. I was terrified of falling off, of not being able to do the same thing again. People around me told me it was okay to rest, but sometimes I couldn't hear them over my own anxiety. I chose the grind over the very clear signals my body was sending me. I thought I was outsmarting the cycle by pushing through, but burnout always collects its debt, and it usually charges with interest. I pushed until my body made a decision for me. If you remember the times I streamed less or didn't stream at all, I didn't just get tired. I got sick. I lost a week, and there was even a time that it was 2 weeks of everything I was working hard for because I was physically and mentally spent. The momentum I was so afraid of losing, I lost it anyway. Not because I chose to rest, but because I refused to. But here's what I realized after. The world didn't end, my community didn't vanish, and the spotlight didn't break. I realized that the only person holding the on switch to that pressure was me. Once we realize we're just hunting for validation at that point, we can finally stop. It's like realizing we've been running a race where there's no finish line and no trophy, and we can just step off the track. We don't need a good job to be valid. We were valid before we even started. That's why I think it's time to break the cycle together so we can avoid the crash. We can tackle the spotlight effect by trying to be 10% less than our usual self. Don't volunteer for that extra task. Don't be the first to fix a problem. Watch how the world stays upright. It's the proof We need that the spotlight isn't as critical as we think. Let's stop viewing rest as a reward for being broken. Think of a car in a race. The pit stop isn't lost time, it's what keeps the engine from exploding. Scheduled rest is how we stay in the game. Forced rest is how the game stops us. And when that guilt hits for sitting still, ask, am I afraid of failing, or am I just uncomfortable with my own silence? Most of the time, our audience or our peers are patient. It's our own ego that's demanding the grind. True momentum isn't a straight line up. It's a heartbeat. It needs the dip to have the rise. Taking a break isn't losing time, it's performing maintenance on the only engine we have. A healthy version of us at 50% speed is infinitely better than a broken version of us at 0. It's difficult, especially if it has become a habit to keep pushing, but let's turn off the spotlight for a bit and realize that we are allowed to just be.